Hello all, I'm King John, you're you, and you should keep being awesome. And today I want to have a quick talk about President Trump and whether or not he can actually end the war in Ukraine. Because that is an open question, even if you're a really hardcore Trump supporter. Remember, he is a politician and that was a campaign promise. And you should always take campaign promises with a healthy dose of skepticism. Now, before I begin, here's the thing that really should be made clear. Trump is not Putin's friend. I know lots of people like to say so. Most of them are Trump's political enemies. But Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States of America, never met with Putin. Not once. I mean, they may have spoken at, I believe, at a G8 conference, but they've never met in person. They've never talked, at least as far as his public knowledge. Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, um, tightened sanctions. He increased sanctions that were on Russia from the 2014 occupation of Crimea. Donald Trump, the 45th President of the United States, sent quite a large amount of military aid to Ukraine, which is part of the reason why the 5-day special military operation is now going into its third year. And, now Donald Trump is the 47th President of the United States is the same Donald Trump. So, no, he is not Putin's friend. So, can he end the war? Can he do it on the first day? Probably not. I'm really, really certain that the Ukraine war is not going to end on the first day of Trump's presidency. Can he bring an end to it, though? Not necessarily on the first day, like he has said on at least one occasion. Well, any honest answer needs to start with, I don't know. There's an awful lot of things that we just know nothing about, like the internal workings of Putin's government, whatever deals and agreements may be between Putin and his various allies, China, North Korea, Iran, etc. So there's an awful lot of factors involved that we just know nothing about. I think he could. I think he actually has a fairly good chance of it. I think he has a pretty good chance of it. First, Trump actually has a bit of a record, a track record of actually getting people who don't like each other talking together and signing agreements. The Abraham Accords between Israel and several Arab countries, for example. The Korea talks between North and South. Went through several rounds of negotiation, and the end kind of trailed off and never went anywhere after, but it was still a pretty major accomplishment. So there is that. Ukrainians want peace. They want the war to end. There's been lots and lots of polls showing that. The vast majority of Ukrainian people want the war over as soon as possible. Although a very large majority of them don't want to negotiate with Putin because they are certain that Putin cannot be trusted, and yeah, they're kind of right. I am not familiar with Putin personally, but I'm really sure that he wants peace as well. I mean, it doesn't take a military genius to figure out that he did not expect the war to go as badly as it has gone. Russia is suffering. The country is literally falling apart. Their infrastructure is going to pieces, and the economy is dying. It's just not good for Russia at all. And I'm not saying that Putin actually cares about the welfare of the average Russian person. The longer this goes on, the more likely they are to stand up to him, and thus the more in danger his power is. So I'm sure that he wants to end the war as well. There are several problems, but I mean, Ukrainians will want guarantees for their safety. Putin is going to want to keep territories he's taken. It's not going to be easy, not by any stretch of the imagination. But I think Trump does have a fairly good chance of doing it. But that is the future, and no one can tell 100% what the future is going to hold. So that's my thing. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day.